Hi everyone, this is HM&S video number 42 and you are most welcome for it. We have seen how to use VLOOKUP in Excel and also how to use HLOOKUP in Excel. Today we are going to see how to use another powerful lookup function in Excel, a function that can do both VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. And guess what? It can do certain things that VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP cannot do. This function is the lookup function in Excel. Let's switch on to Excel and we dive deeper into how to use lookup function in Excel. Now, as I've already told you, lookup function can do both VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. The lookup vector from your lookup table must be sorted in ascending order. We're going to see what the lookup vector is very soon. And guess what? This function came before VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. Let's scroll down and we start seeing examples. Now, this is HF Company Week 1 sales that we have been using for the last few videos. This is our master table and this is actually our lookup table. Now, we're going to use this revenue here as our lookup value. And we're going to look up this revenue from this lookup table and we shall get the commission from this lookup table and we bring it to this master table here. Now the lookup function is mostly used when doing approximate match lookup, but it can also be used to do exact match lookup. So when you come to your lookup table, since revenue is our lookup value, from this lookup table, revenue is going to be our lookup vector. Now this lookup vector must be sorted in ascending order. Whether you're doing approximate match lookup or exact match lookup, you must sort your lookup vector in ascending order in order for the lookup function to work very well. Now, if we are to do this using VLOOKUP, this is how we should do it. Let's remind ourselves about VLOOKUP equals to VL, tab to select it. The lookup value is going to be our revenue, comma. The table array is going to be this entire table here. I'm going to hit the F4 key to lock it since I'm going to copy my formula down, comma. The column index number 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to put there 3. And then comma, this is approximate match lookup, so I'm going to select true, tab to select it, close my bracket, control enter, then I'm going to copy my formula down. So that's how we can actually do it using VLOOKUP. Let's see if the lookup function is going to give us the same answer as the VLOOKUP. So I'm going to click on this cell and do equals to lookup, tab to select it. Now this is actually a very special function. The screen tip is actually showing us two options. The first option here is having 3 arguments, the lookup value, the lookup vector, and then the result vector. Then the second option here is having only 2 arguments, the lookup value, and then the array. Now we're going to see how we can use all those 2 options. But first, let's start by seeing this first option here. Now the lookup value is going to be our revenue. So I'm going to click on revenue, comma. Now since we are looking up revenue, that means revenue is going to be our lookup vector from the lookup table. So I'm going to come to the lookup table. Then I'm going to highlight my revenue like this. Now since I'm going to copy my formula down, I'm going to hit the F4 key to lock it, comma. Then the result vector is what we want to go and pick and bring it to the master table. For our case, we want the commission. So I'm going to highlight my commission like this. And then hit the F4 key to lock it. Now the lookup vector and the result vector must have the same height in order for the lookup function to work very well. So I'm going to close my bracket. When I control enter, then I copy my formula down, you can see we're getting the same result as the VLOOKUP. Now let's click on this cell and we see the second option. So I'm going to do equals to lookup, tab to select it. Still the lookup value is going to be the same. We're going to look up revenue, and then comma. Now we are not using the upper option here, we are using the second option. Our argument is the array. It simply needs the array now. So I'm going to simply highlight my lookup table like this. Now, when you're using the second option here, if your lookup table is having more rows than columns, like for our case here, it knows that your table is actually set vertically. So it will pick for you the value from the last column of your lookup table. Like for our case here, it's actually the commission. But if your lookup table is having more columns than rows, the lookup function knows that your table is actually set horizontally, so it will pick for you the value from the last row of your lookup table. So I simply need to hit the F4 key to lock it. I'm going to close my bracket. So that's it. That's 2 options, the lookup value and then the array. When I control enter, then I copy my formula down. You can see it's actually working very well. So it's your choice. Now let's scroll down and we see another example. We're having the same master table and also the lookup table, but I want to show you that if you're using lookup function, you can actually put your result vector or the value you want to return on any column within your lookup table. If you're using VLOOKUP, the first column must contain your lookup values, but if you're using lookup function, That's not the case. You can actually put your result vector, or you can put your lookup values in any column within your lookup table. So for our case here, we want to return commission, and we have put commission on the first column. Let's see whether this will work. I'm going to click on this cell and do equals to lookup, tab to select it. Let me first scroll this screen tip down here a little bit. Now, since we have set our dataset like this, the value we want to return is not on the last column of our lookup table. We cannot use the second option here. We are going to use the first option here. So the lookup value is going to be our revenue, comma. The lookup vector is the revenue. So we are going to come to our lookup table, look for revenue. So this is going to be our lookup vector. I'm going to highlight it, hit the F4 key to lock it, comma. Then our result vector is going to be the commission. I'm going to highlight it, F4 to lock it, close my bracket. When I control enter, then I'm going to copy my formula down. You can see it actually works very well. So let's scroll down for another example. Now we have seen how we can do the lookup when our dataset is actually set vertically. Let's see how we can use the lookup function when our dataset is set horizontally. So I'm going to click on this cell, equals to lookup, tab to select it. Let's start by using the first option here. So the lookup value is still going to be revenue. So I'm going to click on revenue, comma. The lookup vector is actually going to be the revenue, which is this one here. I'm going to hit the F4 key to lock it, and then comma. Then the result vector is going to be commission from this lookup table here. I'm going to hit the F4 key to lock it, close my bracket. When I control enter, then I copy my formula to the right like this. You can see it's actually working very well. Let's also click here and we see how we can do it using the second option, equals to lookup, tab to select it. The lookup value is still going to be revenue. So I'm going to click on revenue, comma, the array. Now, you can see here our lookup table is having more columns than rows. We have only 3 rows, but there are many columns. This tells lookup function that our dataset is actually set horizontally, and we want to pick the value from the last rows. So for the array, I'm simply going to highlight my entire table, having the value we want to pick on the last row, which is the commission, as you can see. So I'm going to hit the F4 key to lock it, close my bracket. When I control enter, then I copy my formula to the right. You can see it's actually working very well. So the other trick here is how you set your lookup table. Let's scroll down and we see another example. Now what we're going to do here is again something that VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP cannot do. Our master table is set vertically, and our lookup table is actually set horizontally. Let's see whether the lookup function will work. So I'm going to click on this cell and do equals to lookup, tab to select it. The lookup value is going to be our revenue. So I'm going to click on the revenue, comma. We're going to use the first option here. The lookup vector is going to be the revenue. Now look at this. The revenue is actually set on the middle row of our lookup table. So I'm going to highlight the revenue like this. That is actually our lookup vector. I'm going to hit the F4 key to lock it, since I'm going to copy my formula down, comma, and the result vector is on the first row of our lookup table. So I'm going to highlight the commission, which is the result vector, F4 to lock it. I'm going to close my bracket. Now since the lookup vector and the result vector is having the same weights, even if our master table is set vertically, the lookup function works very well. Let's see, when I control enter, and then I copy my formula down, you can see it's actually working very well. You can actually prove from here. I've actually copied the results we have done above and pasted it here as values only. So you can see it's actually working very well. Now let's scroll down and we see our last example. Now what if your lookup value is having the same number of columns and the same number of rows like our case here? What will the lookup function do? It will pick for you the value from the last column of your lookup table. I'm going to click on this cell, equals to lookup, tab to select it. The lookup value is going to be revenue, comma, then our array is simply going to be this. I'm going to lock it using the F4 key. When I close my bracket and control enter, and then I'm going to copy my formula down. You can see it's actually working very well. You can check the categories here and then the commission that it has actually given us. So you should remember that when you're setting up your lookup table. Yeah, that is it about how to use lookup function in Excel. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. And if you found this video interesting, give it a like and then you share it with your friends. This is a video where we talked about how to use VLOOKUP in Excel. You can click on it, then you go and watch it. Until next video, HM&S video number 43. Then we meet again. Thank you.